Hey everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And today we're doing episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Episode 2 aired. It was called The Spangled Man.
Yeah.
New episode in the series. And if you're new here, we're just going to give you a quick spoiler-free overview of what we thought of the episode. And then we'll jump into, I guess, spoilerific kind of stuff. So with that being said, Chris, episode 2, Spangled Man. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was okay, to be honest, without going into any spoilers. I don't know. It's just not really grabbing. It has little parts of action where they're fighting, but like the storyline just doesn't really have anything that's gripping me personally.
Yeah.
So this is more of an action thing. So they need to throw more action in, I think, unless, I don't know. The story hasn't developed enough. So I'm still up in the air about it. How about you?
Yeah, I completely agree. The show is not as gripping as the WandaVision. While I'm enjoying to see Sam and Bucky, in the show, and the humor that Sam has and stuff like that, like that comes from the movies. I'm like, oh yeah, this is familiar, but there's not enough familiarity that's like giving me that like, oh, I'm watching an MCU movie.
Seems like a show about two sidekicks.
Yeah,
which it is,
and they could do a lot of funny stuff about that, but I just feel like it's just really taking a long time to get there. And this show being only 6 episodes,
so
it seems to be
6, so they only have 4 more.
It doesn't seem to have gotten anywhere important, anywhere of substance yet after 2 episodes.
One of them needs to take the leading role and be like the main person kind of thing, instead of having this back and forth 2 sidekicks just picking at each other, not really doing anything.
Absolutely. So I mean, the fact that these connect to the movies at some point, I'm gonna want to watch it all and see where it goes. But I can say, as a fan of all the MCU does, Star Wars, Disney, you name it, this is the first one that I'm just not 100% all in for. I'm still sitting there watching it. The characters that they introduce are very non-interesting.
Yeah.
Don't care much about them. And the again, not trying to get spoilers, but the obstacles that they face don't seem of any big consequence, at least not yet.
Yeah. No,
nothing of a global threat. And I know this isn't Avengers, but even, standalone, like if you go back to like standalone
Iron Man's.
There are big threats. There are things that cause them to get involved. It's not like, oh, you stole my car, I'm going to get you. It's just, this doesn't seem big enough scale that it seems to warrant like any interest or any reason.
Should be more like police type stuff or military more than superheroes. But
so I mean, that's our spoiler-free thoughts on the episode as a whole. If you haven't watched it, this is where you want to stop it, then come back after you watched it if you don't want to be spoiled. We'll get into specific scenes, but yeah, that's the fair warning. So let's dive right in. So I'm not going to run through the whole episode because a lot of it was backstory, which I don't mind, except that when it's an hour and you got like maybe 5 to 10 minutes of action and the rest is just trying to get you, interested in the backstory of these characters, which I don't find. Like okay, let's take a step back. We know who Sam and Bucky are based on our watching of all the movies.
Yes.
We've watched Winter Soldier, we watched Civil War, we saw where Falcon gets introduced, we kind of get a little bit of them. We're getting a little bit more of their history, which I don't mind. As characters we fell in love with the movies, that's cool. But the supporting characters, which were introduced to John, what's his name? The new Captain America?
Oh.
John something or other?
They
call him by his last name.
Is it Miller?
I don't think it's Miller. Call him like, oh yeah, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. This guy, I mean, he flat out says
Walker?
it. I'm not. Yeah, it might be Walker. Yeah, they call him Walker. Listen to Walker.
Yeah.
So John Walker. They're getting here, and he flat out says, "I'm not trying to be the next Steve Rogers. I'm not trying to be like. I'm trying to be the best Captain America I can be," which makes sense. You're not trying to beat him. You're not trying to copy him, which is fine. But he's wearing the same helmet.
Yes.
Which,
the same outfit.
Which like doesn't fill out.
Everything.
His outfit is a little bit of a different style, but it's you're gonna be Captain America, and he's just like this skinny, scrawny man. They flat out said like he's proven the top in all of his tests. They're trying to give his background and all of his like reflexes and this, and he's won a bunch of medals. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like he's a hero. He's been in the army. Definitely. He's definitely got the heart for it. Yeah. But he's not a super soldier. He's just a guy. And then when you see him go toe to toe with super soldiers and take them down, when Bucky and Falcon Sam, Sam is not a super soldier, but he's like an Avenger. He's fought. He's had training. He's got these gadgets, and he's struggling. How is you coming up and taking them down?
Yeah,
like that. I'm like, what is this? Like,
I was also surprised that when they're showing him using the shield, how he could throw it and catch it.
Yeah, and it showed one flashback scene of him training with it, and I'm like, come on! Like the reason why Cap can do it is he's a super soldier.
Yeah, he had the strength to grab it and throw
super
it.
Reflex. Yeah.
I agree 100%. So unless there's something that they're not telling us, which I don't think there is, he shouldn't be able to do these skills and use the shield the way that he is.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem real. Like they're trying to make something out of it, but it just, you can see through that it's not plausible.
Yeah.
It's just so fake.
And we throughout the episode, he's trying to be their buddies. He's trying to be like, one of the team.
We should team up and
we're all like, we don't like you. And the characters are like, we don't like you. And then later on, he makes a comment of like,
don't get in my way.
Don't get in my way. Yeah. Like, okay, you're not going to join me, then you're my... And I'm like, who are you? Like, they could just come and take you out.
Yeah.
You're not... Like, if you were a super soldier, I could say, like, okay, you could probably stand toe-to-toe with these guys. But Bucky does have serum in him. I thought we just had the arm. I didn't realize he actually had other...
Yeah, I think they put all these testing, Hydra put all these testing into him.
So he's a super soldier as well.
Yeah.
And he's got the arm to boot. And he's struggling against these super soldiers.
Yeah.
And this Cap is not. So I thought that was completely weird and unrealistic. Unless they're going to explain it and say, like, surprise, he's got some
secret testing or whatever. I do like how they ended it with them about to see Baron Zemo.
Yes. Yeah. They brought it out. But I was like, at the end of the second episode, I'm like, only now? I thought he was behind this whole Flag Smasher people. Yeah. I thought he was the one that was pumping the super serum and it was his plan. And it seems like, no, he's in jail. Unless he's
seems like he's
master.
Been in jail since Civil War.
Yeah.
Where Black Panther probably put him in jail. But yeah, I don't know. Right now, the dots are kind of all over the place and they haven't been connected 100% yet.
Yeah, but, we know they're hacking Falcon's tech to see where he is and just jump on the... And they went on their own mission. This isn't a government-sanctioned mission. Sam is on his own mission, on a side thing, to go after these Flag Smashers.
Yeah. Right now, these Flag Smashers, though, are like thieves. Like bank robbers and stuff like that.
And then they send this Captain America. The government's like, oh yeah, you follow them and join them on their mission. I'm sorry, if you're owned by the government, I'm pretty sure that they have other things important that you need to do, not just to piggyback. Fun, what's Falcon doing randomly during the day? Let's jump on whatever he like. It just didn't make sense. If like the Shield as a whole organization, which is no longer there, Sword as a whole organization, these big government organizations, all have protocols and all this other red tape and all these things that they need to do. In fact, Sam makes a joke of it.
Yeah,
like we shouldn't.
We're free agents.
We can do whatever we want.
We can't team up because we're free agents. Yeah, we have a lot of red tape and approvals and stuff like that.
He just joins in because they followed Red Wing. Whatever Red Wing does, they're able to see it, and he's like, "You're hacking my tech." As technically, it's the government's tech, and I'm like, okay, I guess.
Now that's smashed. I like the little comment from Bucky saying, "I've always wanted to do that."
That was good.
When the super soldier says that, so there is some comedy to it, but I just find it really lacking for a real enemy, like a real true.
Yeah, there's the super soldiers. Okay,
yeah,
but who cares? Who are they? What's the point?
What are they doing? Like what's and then like who's the real superheroes? What are they doing? Like I just don't. There's no real storyline that's making sense. In my head right now, at least. Really
cool Falcon moments and saving Bucky from underneath the cards. Like really awesome moments showing Falcon like come into his own. So when it has the Bucky and Falcon moments, that's the point of the show. But there's a lot of this other stuff going on that I'm like, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
I don't care about this Cap. Obviously, there's a reason because it's all about the struggle of Falcon. Wanting like this guy doesn't deserve it, but I don't feel like I deserve it. And Bucky's like, Cap chose you, you deserve it. You need to take that up and own it. And I'm like, they're gonna obviously maybe that's where they're coming with him becoming the new Cap, like in the comics. But I thought they'd be playing with it with him and Bucky having the shield and who deserves it, and more of that than like some other dude that's just. And I don't know. There's something about the show that just. I'm watching it hoping for that, like, here's the moment that I've been waiting for, and it's just not presenting itself.
Yeah, I agree. I keep waiting. I thought that this episode would be the one where, second episode of 6, they finally got together, which is fine. They're butting heads a lot because of, Sam giving up the shield, Steve trusting him with it, whatever it may be. But it's just, I thought this was going to be the episode where we got to see who the mastermind is behind it. What's the plan? Like, what are they going to do? I don't know. I mean, the one leader that we see she gets these texts saying, "You stole my stuff. I'm gonna kill
some
all you
random
guys."
girl in Kari. We don't know who she is, what she is. We find out that the whole crew is about like the people that were the people that disappeared in the blip. Were gone. And then, all these people had their lives. And then now there's this government agency that when the blip happened and the people came back, trying to get their life in order, social insurance numbers.
They feel like they're more important. The people from the blip
are more important than the people that survived who had to live through this, a travesty, go about their lives, pick up the ashes, make something of themselves, and now they're like being cast aside. So I can understand them being a little upset that they're not in the limelight. But people essentially were dead and came back. I'm sorry, but I know that if this happened to me, if my wife died and came back, I'd be very concerned about her coming back to life. I'd be so happy and grateful that they're alive and reintegrating her and getting her back into life again. Then I was here the whole time. Whereas I don't know, I just don't see that as being a reason for anything.
Yeah.
So it seems like a weak cause. And then what are they doing? They're going around smashing things? I don't understand what the purpose is.
They're robbing banks and
getting money to do what?
And stealing meds or maybe super serum.
I assume they're trying to make more super soldiers to make an army to to fight the people that's what is their end goal? I don't understand the purpose of this. I guess that's what they want to find out. Maybe Baron Zemo was behind all this. Maybe he's building an army unbeknownst to these people. They're in this cause, but in reality he's the puppet master and they're going to be used to just fight the good guys for his own uprising. Yeah. And that could be the case, but it just doesn't seem to...
The story needs to be moving along a lot quicker than what it is right now.
Yes, you nailed it. Yeah,
they're doing too much backstory and random people that don't even matter. What does it matter if Bucky goes on a date or there's ways around getting him to feel guilty about the man's son than going on a random date, playing Battleship and just wasting time. Yeah, essentially. Let's get this down. If it's going to be 6 episodes, make it 6 jam-packed episodes of an hour. Don't give me filler, maybe 1 episode of filler, but let's get this going like it's a movie kind of thing and get the plot, get the thing going so that people are interested. Because right now, I don't know, at least for us, we're interested, but it's not
a lot of filler.
Yeah,
the first 2 episodes have had a lot of filler. Backstory is fine, but adding these new characters, trying to give us backstory and still not caring about him. When they give me the backstory of John. And they're like, he's won this many medals. Because she's like, hold on, John, let me read your resume here so that we can fill all the watchers in on who you are. Yeah. You've won these medals. You served in the war. You've saved people. You are rated higher, and all of your reflexes, skills, strength training's better than anyone. That's great. You're still just a person.
Yeah.
So even if you are the best,
you can be a
human,
surgeon or a sergeant or whatever, right? Like a captain. You can be top of the military, but they need to find other superheroes.
Correct.
To fill in that.
And so maybe they're saying he's just as good as Falcon because Sam is just the guy with gadgets. Iron Man is just a guy with gadgets. So they're trying to say he is just as heroic as these guys based on him being all these Purple Hearts, Brave Medals, whatever, saving people. Okay, we get it. We get it that you're a good guy. Yeah. That's fine. But at the same time,
doesn't have the technology.
You don't just show up and be like, and then get in there and be like, I'm gonna hit this guy with a shield and boom, boom, boom. And he's taking on guys that I'm like, I'm sorry. Falcon is struggling as a regular guy who's actually fought against aliens and monsters and all this stuff. And you just just shows up to the scene and you're just holding your own. It's a lot to have to believe.
Yeah.
Have us want to believe this stuff. And I'm like,
I can see if they gave him a big suit that were electronics or bulletproof, or robotic or something something
special glove that pulls the shield back. Yeah, something, right?
How is it bouncing back to him and he's able to catch? It's just not in the realm of a human to be able to bounce things off and have it come back.
Or the strength of force. Cap throws that thing bounces around because of the amount of strength he has. He is a super soldier. So he whips that thing around. It's bouncing around at super high velocity and it's knocking guys out. Yeah. This guy throws it. I'm sorry. It's not going to go half as fast as Cap. No. But it looks the same in the thing.
Oh, yeah. They're making it seem like it's the same. But, yeah. And the way he can pull it back and just it's just not realistic for, without having some sort of gizmos or gadgets to help enhance him to be able to do that and make it realistic.
Yeah. And then when we see these super soldiers all getting ready to get on a plane and leave to the next destination mission, whatever they're doing, and then the people are onto them, the government or whatever, I can't remember what they call them. They're onto them. And so these cars are coming. So one guy says, I'll give you time, I'll hold them off. He puts on a mask, he pushes over a pole to slow them down, then he just walks towards them and they just get shot and dies. And I'm so clearly you don't need superheroes. Just get the army out with guns and just mow these guys down and it's over.
The same thing. I was if they can be taken down by bullets, then what's going on?
Yeah, like I thought it would be a little bit more like, okay, taking boom, like Hulk, taking shots and getting up and just having this adrenaline, and like look at Winter Soldier, look at Bucky.
Yeah.
He not only does he dodge them, but he gets grazed, he gets hit and stuff, and he's able to just get up and just power through it. And these don't seem like the same super soldiers. They're strong enough to take down Bucky and Falcon, but they're able to just get wiped out by bullets. Yet Cap, he had the shield, but he had inventive ways of dodging and getting in and figuring out how to get through them. And even Bucky, Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It just seems something just seems off about this, and I'm hoping that by the end of it, then okay, it's explained. But I have a feeling it's not. I think this is just, okay, here's Captain America we're not going to like. Falcon's going to find a way to get it back, and we're going to have to prove that maybe this guy is infallible. Maybe he has his own motives. Maybe he's selfish. Maybe whatever. Yeah. And then something's going to come up, and then they're going to bring it to light, and then they're going to give the shield back to him, and he's going to finally take up the mantle. That's fine, but it just seems like a weak character to do it.
Yeah.
It would have been better for like an enemy to have broken in and stole it. A super soldier enemy, and now they gotta fight this guy. That would have been a way cooler. And now he's using it on them, and he's strong. Like that's more of an opposing enemy than just some random. I don't know. It's just I'm on a rant here, but clearly we're watching the show, and at least from my perspective, I'm watching it. I'm enjoying the Falcon and Winter Soldier moments in hopes of this amazing payoff.
Yes.
If I don't get it, I'm gonna be very disappointed, and I may not want to join season 2 if it comes back for season 2 because. Other than the fact that it ties in with the movie, I'd rather just watch a cut of here's what you need to know than watch this show that just like it feels like it's lacking. Like WandaVision just had everything. It had crazy moments. It had ups and downs. But then they had these hooks at the end of every episode. That's like, what's that? What's happening? Hydra's flat. Like, what's going on here? And this just doesn't have anything other than the Baron Zemo flash at the end. But that wasn't a surprise. It was like, let's go see him. We're gonna go see Baron Zemo, and then it shows him in his cell, and it's like, okay. Like, okay, we're going to go see him. I was kind of like, why haven't they shown him yet?
Yeah.
Like, this is episode 3? Like, come on, guys. Like, let's... I don't know.
I'm waiting for more as well. I was disappointed that, you know, I thought episode 2 would show a lot more or get into it a lot more. But, hopefully from here on out, they don't really have room to have any more fillers. So they got to ramp it up and get it going.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of when they introduced Isaiah?
Yeah, so...
What do you think about that?
The old... Super
there was
soldier.
Another super soldier that was, I guess, experimented on like Bucky, because he talked about Bucky, and they had fought, and he had ripped his arm off back in the day. So this was when Captain America was still frozen and during old missions, obviously. So he was, but they fought. So was he a good
It seemed like he was on the American side or whatever.
But that's the thing. The American did experiments on him, or was it the bad guys did? He still had his mind. He fought him and escaped, and now has been in hiding since. Like I don't.
So my thought is maybe Shield was trying to experiment as well, trying to get that replicate what Cap was,
and successfully did it on one person and then stopped.
Well. Maybe it wasn't quite successful because the aging process was like he looks old compared to Bucky and
correct.
And all that
but
stuff.
I mean, if it was done back, you're right, Bucky. You're right. Yeah.
So it depends. Maybe they got it kind of right. Like he has super strength, but maybe he doesn't have all the other things that Cap had. It was like the best of all things coming together. So it was interesting to see that, and obviously there's maybe others that they're doing, but I don't know. I don't get why they introduced them and then.
And Sam calls it out. He's like, so you mean to tell me that there was another guy like this whole time? You didn't tell. Why didn't you tell Cap?
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
His life was hard enough. I didn't want.
Yeah, that there's another one like us out there. But then clearly, Hydra replicated the stuff on you.
So
to other
Hydra
people.
was in with Shield though, right? Like they had snuck their way in. So I'm sure they took what they learned there and kind of moved it and tried to maybe perfect it or maybe got it better than Shield did and so on and so forth, and had spies telling them what works, what doesn't work.
I mean, clearly they made other soldiers. They have a factory somewhere where it's producing it. Limited supply, it looks like. It looks like why they're stealing these it
looks like they might be trying to steal the serum or parts to make the serum or whatever it may be.
But the thing is they've chosen these people. For us, they're just random people. A couple of the dudes look like some big, strong, like people who think that they would be candidates. But some random, another girl, some other dude that's like some skinny, scrawny guy, a couple of more tougher dudes. Yeah, and it's just like, okay, some random dudes were selected. We don't know why. But even the girls, they didn't look very bright. They didn't look like they were, if they're super serum, like the guys, you think they'd be a little bit more jacked up, and they just look like random people. They're just
because he went into that process as a skinny, scrawny guy and came out jacked and big, right?
And so Bucky was also pretty big. So Isaiah was the only one that was normal looking, and so maybe it's like you said, this is a version that makes you strong but doesn't give you all the aspects.
Yeah, makes you age normally, makes you look normal. Maybe it goes from there.
Yeah.
So
he called them out. He was upset. He didn't want to see them again. He asked them to leave. Sam was upset that he didn't share this news. Like, there was more of these out there. We could have known about this. But look, why, Sam? Is it because knowing this or kept knowing this would mean that you would then use it on more people? Like, I don't understand why the benefit of kept knowing.
I don't even know why they introduce.
I don't understand the purpose of it yet.
The episode as well either.
Unless it's for, by the way, last episode, guess who shows up? Isaiah comes and helps them. There's another, like,
possibly.
I don't know. Like, it's a future payoff. But right now, it just seems like it was an interesting, like, oh, there's another super soldier. Oh, we knew Bucky fought him. Okay, there's something here. And then it just get out of my house and you don't see you again. And I'm like, what was the point of that?
Well, what do you think about the police going after Falcon as well, Sam? And like asking Bucky, is this guy bothering you?
Oh, that was a cool thing.
Predominantly,
yeah. So they did like a racial,
racial profiling kind of aspect.
And they're like, oh, he's an Avenger. Oh, he's an Avenger. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. If it was Joe Blow, then
I'm a racist guy and whatever. I'm like, oh, they brought that in because earlier Sam made a joke where they're like, oh yeah, you're Black Falcon. And he's like, no, it's just Falcon. He goes, my dad calls you Black Falcon. He's like, why? Is it because I'm black and I'm the Falcon? He goes, yeah, technically. So then, where are you, black kid? I started laughing. I'm like, that's hilarious, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, don't. They're literally making light of it, but like even like black people are having, some people are I don't want to say profiling, but they're have their own situations where they're saying words that may not be right. You don't call someone black person just because they're black. It's just not right? They're a person.
Exactly.
And so they had that moment, and then they're like, oh, he's getting profiled, and then it's like. Yeah. They kind of deal with it, but they don't deal with it.
Bugging you?
He's like, oh, you're an Avenger. He's stand down. And then they talk, and it's like, they're
like, hold on one second.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. What's the matter with you? And call him out for being a racist and like deal with that. Yeah. No, they just kind of just treat it.
I would have liked it to show Anthony.
Like, how would he handle this? He'd be like, this, and even Bucky, he'd be like, that's not right. Like, we're superheroes, we're Avengers. It's like, you're being racist to him because he was black. Oh, you're Avenger, you're cool. Yeah, okay, we're cool. No, we're not cool. Yeah. Deal with that.
You're so the people like, watching, because it showed other people watching on the street and stuff like that. They're obviously being profiled the same way. They're not like the police. Like they gotta show that it's not right and show that they're superheroes. They should be protecting not just big bad guys, like big bad guys. It should be even the cops teaching them.
And be like, that's wrong, and we're gonna deal with this, whatever, and like write them up or whatever.
What's your badge number or whatever?
Yes.
And be like, I'll report it to
it's like this is
higher ups and stuff. So I thought it was good that they showed the profiling even for superheroes, but
they didn't
I didn't think that I didn't think they addressed it properly to show that it wasn't right and that they don't agree with it and they're gonna fight for the small people too.
Do you think the purpose of it was just to say like, yeah, it's happening even in the super world, like we're in the same world that this happens. It's still amongst us.
I thought it was until but it didn't, they just blew it off.
Yeah. I don't know. So it could have went a lot better with some of these things that they introduced, and it just seemed to fall flat. Unfortunately,
a lot of these things are just random right now. It seems like the backstories and the characters that are introduced or some events that happen are just so what. So what's the point of it, right? Like, for now, unless they circle back or it's a long game or whatever it may be. But yeah, a lot of it right now is just like I keep thinking to myself,
who cares?
Who cares? So what? Why?
Right? Why am I watching this? So I think the only thing that have set up, coming back to the average show that you watch that makes you want to watch the next one and the next one, they leave you with that hook, that surprise, that like, oh my gosh moment. Like, I'm not going to spoil WandaVision in case people haven't watched WandaVision, but there's certain episodes where like someone shows up and like, oh, I didn't expect that person or whatever.
Yeah.
That makes you want to watch the next episode. What's going to happen next? And this movie, the only like, I guess, setup moments was when John Walker pretty much said like don't get in my way kind of thing, like, oh, we're now going to be enemies potentially, but I'm like, they're going to just knock you out, who cares? And then the whole, we're going to see Baron Zemo, and it showed him in the case. I'm like, but they said, yeah, we're going to meet him.
You're going to sit down with them, like Bucky's going to sit down with them and talk about Hydra and all these, get the information, but he's the one that kind of turned Bucky with those phrases, so I wonder if those phrases still work or
well, they said, so the doctor in the statements that said you're cleared, you're fixed, you're not, like they've come to
seems like
say
Wakanda,
it.
Like has
we fixed you, you are good now.
Yeah,
and they and even Sam made a joke about like, what are you? The White Panther is actually this White Wolf, and they made again calling the Black Panther and like all this stuff has happened, which is cool, but. I don't know, like, they're trying to tell us, okay, guys, like, so just so you know, like, we're saying he's fixed so that, when they call the words, he's not going to have problems anymore, and we're yelling it out so that you know that. Yeah. And it just, there's a lot of moments that are just unnecessary, and it just feels like it's just filler for filler's sake.
That's what I think, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
To have a show where you think, so what? That's not good.
No, especially a superhero. So with like Sam and Bucky are really strong characters. Winter Soldier was a great movie.
Yeah, I loved it.
And Civil War was a great movie. Like these are characters that like, yeah, let's show us more. Like in Ant-Man, Sam was funny. Like let's show us more of these characters. And they could have spotlight on these guys. And there's just so much other stuff surrounding that just doesn't work for me. And I hope it turns out to be better. I think they could have ended the show if they just said, we're going to have to go see him. He's like, why? Why do you... And don't mention his name, and then flash his face. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in the show. The fact that like Zemo, we're gonna see him, yeah, blah blah blah, and then they keep talking about him, and then it flashes to him. You don't have to flash to him. There's no surprise. We know what we're talking about. Like it didn't hook me at all. And I was like, okay, I guess I gotta wait for the next episode to finally be like, okay, we're gonna finally get started here.
Yeah, he'll give us some background on what he knows and what
is he involved, what's going on.
Yeah. So we'll get a little.
He's gonna get his purple mask. He's gonna escape. Like I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But I mean, there you go, folks. That's our thoughts. We're not too impressed with the show as a whole right now. We're hoping for more. If you don't want to waste time watching a show and you want to maybe wait for us to say, okay, now's the time you want to jump in. It's one of the. I mean, for MCU content, movies, shows. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of shows up until now. But it's definitely ranking pretty low.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, the unfortunate thing is because of the success of MCU and they just seem to hit home run after home run. You know, they're bound to have something that kind of flops a bit, and this might be it. We'll have to see, but they just set the bar so high that you expect that height to be reached. Yeah. So right now it hasn't been even close to that, but, you know, maybe they'll surprise us and they'll just come out banging after this, and we'll be like, okay, we'll forget it.
Watch the season, watch from episode 3 on, or something like that.
That kind of thing. Like, yeah, maybe we'll be like, okay, totally forget about the first 2 episodes, and you know, we'll remember the latest thing. It always seems to be that way, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, there you have it, folks. Let us know. Did we miss anything that that is really big? Do you think that might change our opinions on how we feel on these first 2 episodes? Was there some Easter eggs that perhaps we overlooked that were obvious in this episode that we didn't catch due to our uninterest or disinterest in the episodes? Let us know. Drop a comment below. Like the video. You can subscribe to our channel. And as always, folks, stay nerdy.